welcome to Heretic Wargaming. Yeah, sorry I'm getting over a cold. So today we have Death Guard, so it's almost mono Death Guard, almost a couple knights, versus a lot of IG. Whole lot of IG. But we'll get into that here in a minute. So let me go ahead and introduce the Death Guard list. So starting over here, we have a Spearhead detachment. It is 3 Plagueburst Crawlers with the Spitters. And then Epidemus is doubling as a Demon Prince this game, so he's usually used as my foot Demon Prince when I need one. And he is my Warlord. He has Arch Contaminator, and I'm going to take Revoltingly Resilient this game because separating plate does not seem like a good idea. Then I've got a unit of 2 Armiger Helverins right here, and they are the stock Stubber and autocannons. And then over here we have a Vanguard, and it is maxed out, so I actually took all 6 slots. Yay, I think it's the first time I've ever done that. And it's led by a Poxbringer right here. Oh wait, sorry. Scooch that back up. The Poxbringer is actually part of the Spearhead. Or the, yeah, and then the Demon Prince is over here because I needed the bonus. My bad. So the Poxbringer is actually part of the Spearhead, and he's just a Poxbringer. Then over here we have 10 Blightlord Terminators with 2 Flails and 2 Blightlauncers, as well as a ton of Bolters. 2 Foul Blightspawn with their good old Spitters. And we've got 3 Contemptor Dreadnoughts, one with the Havoc launcher, and they all have dual Butcher Cannons. So this is 2,000 points, ITC format. So, on to the IG. Alright, so now onto the, and I keep saying alright, onto the IG part. So this is Kyle. Hello, Kyle.
Hello.
So me and him were supposed to get a game in, it was like 3-4 months ago, and that never panned out because of schedules, so so we're finally getting a match in. Yay! So what do you got here, Kyle?
Okay, so to start, I have a battalion of Scions using the military Temptestus regimental doctrine, and I'm also using the Vigilus drop force, Tempestus drop force detachment type. I've got 2 Tempestor primes. This one is going to be the actual warlord for that detachment with grab shoot commando. I have 2 command squads, one all of melt guns, one all of plasma guns. Then I have a 5-man squad with 2 plasma guns. Then I have another 5-man with 2 plasma guns. And then I have a 10-man squad in the back that has 4 hotshot volley guns. They have a Torox, and then they have 3 Valkyries, each loaded with a las cannon, multiple rocket pods, and 2 heavy bolters apiece.
Yeah.
Then we have the Deathcore Krieg Vanguard detachment here. Marshal Karis Venner there for the extra order fun. The straight leg commissar, he's going to be carrying the Blade of Conquest because that's fun. It's always fun to throw a commissar into hand-to-hand combat. And then two 10-man squads of the Krieg Combat Engineers with their shotguns and their acid gas grenades. Lastly, we have another battalion of Armageddon. These guys will also be using the Emperor's Blade armored company from Vigilus. So we've got 2. Figured we'd try it out. We've got two company commanders here. This will be the company commander, the mechanized commander. Allows him to give orders from inside of his vehicle. He doesn't ever have to get out. He rides the style the whole time. Then we have 3 squads of straight leg guardsmen, because gangers are always fun for Armageddon. Each one of them has a grenade launcher and a Voxcaster, and then they have the 3 chimeras in the back with the vulture, and then 1 missile launcher team that will be hiding somewhere, trying to stay away from everybody else.
Woo. So let's take a look. Those guys, yeah, those look pretty cool. I like them. They're kind of chaosy. I think I'm gonna convert them to chaos. All right, so there we go. 2,000 points ITC. So on to deployment. Alright, so welcome to the ITC Battle Report. So this time we rolled Scenario 2, which was Cut to the Heart. So for you guys who at home aren't used to ITC, you guys can download these from frontlinegaming.com, and they're really fun, and they tend to be used by all tournament organizers. So it's actually a very neat format. So we're playing on looks like a ruined city. Looks pretty cool. So we've deployed our objectives. So you got the one here in the center, and then you've got mine over here, and then you've got the IG's objective over there, pretty much exactly across from one another. We rolled hammer and anvil deployment. I rolled and got it first, so I'm going to go ahead and take this table side. And good old Kyle gets to deploy first, which is kind of nasty for IG. So for our secondary missions, the Death Guard took Big Game Hunter, Old School, and Headhunter. And then for the IG, he took Big Game Hunter, Old School, and Recon. So we'll see what happens at the end of round 1. Alright, so here's the end of deployment. So let's go ahead and get back a little bit. So you can see Kyle kind of lined up here. He's got a vulture here on my end with the Taurox right there. 2 of his vehicles, the command vehicles there in the middle. The missile launcher guys are hiding. You got the 3 Valkyries and the other Chimera way over there. So he kind of lined up pretty good right there. And then in equal fashion, so you had the Death Guard where I lined up all 3 PVCs like that, hid 2 of the Butcher Cannon Contemptors, put 1 in the back, and the 2 Armigers in the back here. So I actually won the roll off. We rolled a 6 and he rolled a 1. So now he's going to go ahead and try to seize. No, so close.
Not quite.
Oh. So we'll come back after turn 1. Alrighty, so the end of my turn 1. So I failed spectacularly. So the whole goal, so y'all wanted more of the hows and whys. So the whole goal was to actually wreck this forward Valkyrie right here, because I wanted to get to the plasma and melta guys. However, so both Armigers shot at it. 2 of the Contemptors shot at it. And because of prepared positions, it had a 3-up save against pretty much everything, and it lived with 4 wounds. So, yeah, that goes to show you. So, all 3 PVCs, though, they launched their mortars, and they were able to wipe out this middle missile launcher squad right here. And everything else was basically out of range. So, the goal for this turn is to survive as much shooting as I can, and we'll see what happens. So, I don't think Kyle's going to be nice to me. Alright, the end of IG turn 1. So you can see a lot has happened. So all 3, or all of his flyers over here, so this middle one, the one that I tiered, turbo boosted. The Vulture just moved up, and then these 2 moved up maximum range, and everything jumped out. He only lost 2 combat engineers in the drop. And then the plasma guns destroyed that Armiger. And then over here, the Meltas left me with 9 wounds, and he sent everything else into the Armiger, which ultimately ended up killing it. But on the charge, because he actually had to charge in here, I was able to take this HQ down to 1 wound left. Over here in the middle, so his Commissar attempted to charge my Blightspawn. My Blightspawn actually killed him. I actually need to add that Headhunter point here, sorry. Got a Headhunter point. So he charged in here, and the Blightspawn killed him, and then the squad charged in, and I killed another few, so that was pretty neat. And then over here, so all these guys threw their grenades at the Demon Prince, which left him at 3 wounds. And then he charged in with his Karis Venner guy, and between the Overwatch and then me swinging back, I was able to put him at 1 wound left. Oh, I actually need to swing for the Dreadnought there, so... and then over here, he pops smoke on everything in the backfield. So smoke over there, smoke over here, over there. So currently, right now, so I'm going to actually swing with the Dreadnought, but the score is 4 for Death Guard, 8 for the IG. So he's got a pretty commanding lead. However, let's see if I can swing it back at the beginning of 2. Alright, the end of Death Guard, turn 2. So, over here I was able to swing it a bit. I was able to kill 2 of the Valkyries. Amazingly enough, the Valkyrie with, over here was left with 2 wounds after the Blightspawn shot it. And somehow, one of the Butcher Cannons just completely whiffed, and it lived with 2 wounds, which really messed up my plans. The idea was to kill the Valkyrie here, which would have left this Contemptor a line of sight. Well, actually the building was in the way, so never mind. We actually discussed that. But it meant I would have been able to unload on one of these 2, so... I was able to kill all the Plasma guys, or all the Melty guys over here. And nothing really happened here significantly in the middle. Over here, the Blightlords dropped in, and they took that Chimera down to 9 wounds, and that's about it. And then I failed my charge. So it's actually a pretty close game. The score currently is 5-9, so 9-8. So he's obviously going to probably swing it a little bit higher on me, but we'll see what happens. And right now, we're both down to 3 CP. So he blew a ton of CP this turn between rerolls and Grenadiers and all sorts of funky, crazy IG stuff. So we'll come on back at the end of turn 2. All right.
As intended.
Working as intended. So we are at the bottom of turn... It's turn 2, isn't it? Wow.
That was turn 2.
That's turn 2. So you can see a lot has happened. So he flew over here with his Vulture gunship. And Daka, killed my Warlord. So that was kind of his goal this turn. Over here, all these Plasma guys, along with the Valkyrie, were able to kill my painted Contemptor. So that's pretty neat. He's over... Where's he at? He's dead over there somewhere. And then here, all of his Scions got out. And along with the Toroks, were able to put the PVC down to 6 wounds. And then, being the smart guy Kyle was, he didn't charge me. I tried to bait him into doing it, but he didn't do it. And then over here, the Terminators came down, right? And then I flopped. And then he shot him a bunch, killed about 4. Yeah, it was 4. And then he charged in a unit to basically tie me up. So it actually ended up in his favor, because there's 2 guys now tying up the whole Blightlord unit. So that's actually not in my favor, because now he's going to get a free turn to shoot him after this turn. But right now, the score is actually pretty close.
It's 14-12 for me.
14-12 Kyle. So we'll see what happens. The Death Guard still have a good amount left, but he still has, what, 2 full units embarked? So, all right. We'll see what happens. No, you can move here in a second. All right, so the end of Death Guard turn 3. Some pretty bad rolls on my end. So we'll start over here. So the Terminators finally wiped out those Guardsmen, consolidated forward, but now he's going to launch everything back into them a second time, and they're probably going to die. I have no hopes over there. Here in the middle, I rolled pretty low for the Foul Blightspawn, but he did kill 2 in that squad. Then I charged in, and he made all of the saves. So, yep, that's how this game's going. And then over here, I shot a little bit at the Valkyrie. It's got 2 wounds left. And then in a weird way, this guy right here somehow lived with 3 wounds. But hey, it is what it is. But I did get lucky over here, so because that's an Armageddon Chimera, I unloaded into it, wounded it a bunch, and he rolled, I think, six ones, and had to re-roll one of them to save the Chimera, so that was pretty funny. So that was about the only luck I had that turn. And I did shell some of the Scions. So kind of the whole idea this turn was to eliminate at least one of these two flyers. I did eliminate, I think, almost all of his plasma. So
I saw 2.
yeah, you have 2, but they're tied up, so they're gonna run away. So yeah, we'll see what happens on the guard turn 3. Alright, so the end of IG turn 3. So that was actually a good swing of luck for the Nurgle side. So he unloaded the Vulture into my Foul Blightspawn, and he lived with 2 wounds. Yay! Over here, the Valkyrie hovered again and tried to kill that Contemptor there, but failed because the Contemptor's awesome. And then over here, he fell back with his Scions and then plasmaed my PVC and left him at 2 wounds left with combined fire from some other stuff. The Taurox attempted to kill the Foul Blightspawn, but I think I made my 1 save. Oh no, I failed to save, but he only rolled 1 for a wound, so he lived barely. Over here, he was able to take the middle objective, so at this point, what Kyle's trying to do is he's trying to consistently outscore me on objectives, and he's trying to hold recon as well, so, which he's doing a good job. I think he only needs 1 more recon point, so I have to kill a lot of stuff to deny him that 1 point. And then over here, the Terminators lost a guy, so hopefully on this turn, I'll start taking over that table quarter too, so... or that back end too. So let's see what happens on Nurgle turn 4.
Score?
What's the score?
17 to 15, still me.
17 to 15, still him. So we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna grab a cigarette.
Alrighty. So the end of Nurgle round 4. So pretty brutal. So I was able to kill 6 things this turn. Maxed out my Headhunter finally and my big game hunter. So I killed the Vulture, wiped out the last Temptestus Scion dude right there. Finally killed that Chimera in the back, and then charged in and killed a couple dudes. My PVC went on a rampage and was able to flamer and kill that whole squad after morale. This last dude, the last Scion right here, died to, I think, a random slugger round. It was like something stupid. And then my PVC tried to annoy his HQ down here. In the middle, they're just staring each other down, and then the Blightlords made it in because I used 1 CP for something to reroll. I did not have enough for Veterans of the Long War, so the Chimera lived with 1 wound left. So it's a brutal game though. It's really close. So right now it looks like because he won't be able to kill more this turn. So we're at 10, 12. I've got 21, and he's got. It was 17, right?
I got 17 at the start.
17 at the start, right? And I secured another 3, so I've got 4, 9 at the bottom.
But I have to do this now before I get to that.
We'll get the score at the end of the next 21. Okay, so 21 to 17 right now. So it's a really close game. So we'll see what ends up happening. Alrighty, so the end of bottom of 4, so IG. It's actually a tie right now. I think it's 21 to 21, right? 21-21. So we're just going to kind of roll out what's going to happen in the last couple turns. So right here, the Blightlords are going to go ahead and multi-charge here. So you got stuff to overwatch me?
I do.
Just talking through it. So
both of them would have overwatched for 8 shots.
Yep.
You want me to roll it or?
Yeah. Okay. Just see what. Because I'm going to put the flails here and then everything else into them. So, yep. So 1 would have hit. No wound.
And then the grenade.
Yeah.
Would have hit.
Would have hit. All right.
And
no wound. Nope. And then the Chimera.
Hits once. Wounds once. AP -1.
Wounds once. So let's see. The Blightlord would take nothing.
And then the multi-laser does nothing.
Nothing. All right. So. So yeah, what would have happened was both of those would have made it there. They would have made it there. So I'm going to go ahead and roll how many flails I got. So 8. 8. Hitting. Wounding on 5s. Rolling 1s. That's a cocked. Rolling ones. So it would have been 2 at AP -3 if you just roll those. We'll see if it blows up. Yep, and does it blow up? Nope. And then I would have gotten 7 attacks against the squad. Oy, they failed. Winning on 3s, rerolling 1s. Wow. 2 at -3, 2 at -2.
Okay, so automatically 2 guys would die.
Yep. So 2 more.
And then the other 2 are 6-ups. And he statistically is dead.
Yep.
So that's
so
that.
I would have hold that. Right here, I literally would have sent everything into the Commissar because I want to get that Warlord point. So, going ahead and rolling my Flamer. So I got 6 shots. Winning on 2s, rerolling 1s. So it's going to be 6 at -1.
Okay. So he is going to take his 5-up. 6, you say?
6, yeah. And then I'm going to shoot the Slugger too, in case he lives.
Okay, so he does live.
With 1.
Got 1 wound left.
With 1 wound left. These need 4s to hit. 2 Sluggers hit. 1 more wound at -1.
Okay. So it's 5-up. 1 more. Nope.
Nope. So that would have given me Slay the Warlord. I'm pretty sure this would probably just die. I think the Warlord was really the only thing that mattered. Because I don't know if I would kill...
if you
Actually, you would still get Linebreaker because of this. Because this would come over here.
Yes.
So it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
And then I still got Linebreaker over here. I doubt I would knock you off of that because you're just going to run back over here again.
Yep.
But I would be able to hold more, probably the last 2 turns.
You would...
I would actually scoot these guys around.
Well, I would have shot this there and then that there too.
Yeah.
So they probably would have died.
I would have gotten 1 turn where I think I would have gotten them over here and just contest, and that one would have evened out. We both would have held 1, but it would have contested out.
Okay, so what?
So...
Alright, so I'm going to come back after we finish the tally for what would have happened at the end. Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic game. Alright, so it was a close one. So at the end, we rolled out the last few turns and we had to discuss the score. So the final score ended up being 30-29 in the favor of Nurgle. So we kind of rolled it out. He would have ended up controlling this objective at the end. Here in the middle, we still would have just been staring at each other, and then back here, my Blightlords are having a party. So, and then we did roll out to see whether this right here probably ends up living with 1. And then I did roll to see if my Blightspawn would have killed his little prime dude in there. And I actually rolled 2 2s for the wounds, for the damage. So he actually ended up living, and then we would have assumed that he would have died on the last turn. So, fantastic game. So we will go ahead and pack up, and then I will do a post-battle report. So Kyle, what'd you think of the game? Very close.
Super tight. We got came down to the last turn. 1 point difference there. So a couple things could have gone a little bit better. Stuck to the strategy of camping out on objectives, trying to take them as much as I could.
Yep.
You know, playing basically Pokemon, pop the Pokeball and see what's inside. Run guys over to where they needed to be and kind of stay on top of them as much as I can. Limit the amount of points you can get there. The high toughness was kind of difficult for me to deal with. I didn't have enough to deal with it. Normally I run Avengers. I figured I'd run a Vulture just to take all comer.
Yeah.
Couple hard whiffs kind of hurt me, especially early. Would have liked to have popped the Warlord on first turn and both those Knights without having to charge them. But guard charged and won.
They did. They did. They punched it.
So a couple unorthodox tactics used, nothing crazy. Definitely I think the Emperor's Blade and the Temptestus Strong Force are definitely both worth taking, but you have to build them for a specific role and make sure that you're using them the way they're supposed to be used. They definitely have a place, I think, in competitive. It's hard to compete with the traditional Cadia and Catachan stuff, and then obviously Knights are still running around doing their thing. So playing a straight guard list, I thought it stood up pretty well. I think if I was playing a unit or an army that wasn't quite as resilient, it wouldn't have been quite as tight.
Yeah, no, the Armageddon stuff really hurt my army. So, but I'll talk all about that in my afterthoughts. So it was a pleasure playing you.
Absolutely.
And hope we do this again, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, have a good one. So fantastic game. I want to thank Kyle for allowing me to video him. He is my second battle reporter, so yeah.
And I want to thank him also for bringing a very, very unique, but not only that, challenging list to face. I myself am not very versed in facing just mono IG, or Astra Millitarium as they're called now. I still call them Imperial Guard because I'm old school. Sorry, you're going to hear me call them IG all the time. That's what they are. But anyways, he brought a very challenging list, right? Bunch of flyers, tons and tons and tons of stuff from the Vigilist Defiant thing, and it's pretty cool. Some of the stuff that they do is unique, and I definitely was not expecting it. Was not expecting it at all. And as you guys can see, it was a very, very close game, down to the wire. Sadly, it took a little bit too much time. It was a lot of me messing around with like video cameras and stuff like that. So I'm sorry for that, Kyle. Maybe next time we'll actually get to roll the dice to turn 6, but instead of talking through turn 5s and 6. Overall, though, Kyle was a great opponent. He did a lot of things that you would expect from an ITC opponent. He was denying me points. He was all over the place in trying to deny me points and just wipe me out, right? He had a very, very good first turn, and he had a very solid plan. It sucks that he wasn't able to kill my Warlord on turn 1, but I'm kind of glad for it. Had he done that, it might have been a lot harder for me to go ahead or turn around and recover. But on the flip side, right, so yeah, he had bad luck killing my Demon Prince, but, you know, he had a Valkyrie that lit 8 Butcher Cannon shots, right? Wounded a bunch of times, and it lived with 2 wounds. He literally made every save. So it was back and forth, you know, and those are great games. I love when it's back and forth, that you don't know what's going to happen. It's not one-sided or the other. As for my list, I think that or I should probably go back more into Kyle's list. So Kyle's list, I think, was a very good list. The missile launcher team kind of felt out of place, and he did mention that there at the when we were basically talking about it after the game. And the Scions did a lot of work. They did a lot of work. So. But as for my list, I think that my list worked pretty well. The Contemptors are still, I don't know, they're hit or miss. One thing that game showed me was the Armageddon, his little Armageddon detachment, made it incredibly hard for my army, which relies on AP-1 and very low damage weapons, but in high volumes, to actually do anything. Because Chimeras were all ignoring my AP-1. Same thing with his, well, it was mostly the Chimeras, but at the same point, the Valkyries, you know, that was still 50-50 on any time I wounded them. So it does make me feel like maybe I should start relying on some more AP. But playing Chaos, it's you know, we aren't the best at high AP, lots of weaponry. But my list did work well. I did like it. I did make a last minute change and swapped in 2 Armigers and a couple Foul Blightspawns over a Renegade Knight. I don't know if that was exactly the best choice. We did discuss it a little bit in length at the end, me and Kyle. And I feel like the Knight overall might have been a better choice. Even though it would have given him more of a, like, hey, focus this one thing target, I still would have had to rotate Ion Shields on it, which I did rotate Ion Shields on one of the Armigers. When I did my reroll hits, it would have just been one big guy rerolling hits instead of one Armiger. And then all the weapons are damaged to AP-2. And the Strength 7 I wasn't really missing from the Armigers, so... I'm still not 100% sold on Armigers versus Butcher Cannon Contemptors. I think the Contemptors actually win out, because when you're talking about raw firepower, the Contemptor's always going to get 8 shots, regardless of what's going on, as opposed to the Armiger, which you can have up to 12 shots, and yes, they are damage 3, but they're also only strength 7. So you kind of got the back and forth, if you know what I mean. And then on the other side, the Butcher Cannon Contemptors also get reroll 1s and all sorts of other buffs, so you don't actually have to spend CP on them, right? So But I did like my list. I'm probably going to run something similar to it again. We'll see what I concoct. I'm always mixing up my list. You'll rarely see me play the same list more than once, and that's because I like to test stuff out. And I mean, the meta's always changing, right? So, for you Chaos guys out there, don't give up. We can still win some games. I know we're not the best, but hey. And so I'll see you guys next time on Heretic Wargaming.